saved my life. You look good.
So do you.
Barry is the HBO comedy starring Bill Hader, and it just finished its third season. But is it worth a watch? A hitman from the Midwest moves to Los Angeles and gets caught up in the city's theater's art scene. Don't worry, I'm going to keep this spoiler free. Normally in other reviews, when I'm on a second or third or fourth season of a series, I keep it spoiler filled because I like to talk about what happened in the season and all that. The reason I'm keeping this spoiler free is because this is my first review of Barry. And also, I feel like a lot of people aren't really talking about this show in other areas of the internet. I've seen it on Twitter, but I just feel like this show is not getting enough buzz because it is absolutely fantastic. Let's just say right off the bat, let's get right into it. I love Barry. I think Barry is one of the best shows on television right now. I think it's hands down the best comedy on television right now, unless you consider Succession a comedy, because there are some very funny moments of that show. But Barry is a straight-up dark dramedy. There are so many hilarious sequences in this series. Specifically Season 3, there are amazing sequences that made me laugh out loud so hard. But this series is also filled with many moments of tense suspension, some action, and real drama. The way this show takes its time to build its drama and its tension honestly reminds me of Breaking Bad in some sorts. It takes its time on its shots, it is shot beautifully, and it's very character driven that lead up to some really intense and insane moments that made my jaw drop. This show is incredible. I have nothing but positive things to say about the show. Let's talk about the characters. Bill Hader as Barry is fantastic. This is the best performance Bill Hader has ever given in his career, and he builds on everything in this season. I can't talk about too much because it'll be spoilers, but everything that has happened in season 1 and 2 has built to the way that Barry is act, the way that Barry reacts to things, his overall persona, how he presents himself, and it is perfect. And not just Barry, all the other characters as well. There are a lot of things that have built to this season. That's why I love this series so much, and I already compared it to Breaking Bad, but it's in the same way where I feel like the show is not wasting your time at all. There's no filler scenes. It seems like everything has a purpose there. There's a reaction to certain things that happen. It feels like we're not in like a hamster wheel, like we just keep getting the same thing each season. It seems like we are actually building to something. There's some real narrative, and it is fascinating, and it's fucking great. But this season specifically, it seems like they really stepped up their game in every aspect of filmmaking. The writing, the story, and the shots. I mean, there was an action sequence in here directed by Bill Hader that was amazing. It had to do with some dirt bikes, the way it was filmed when we're weaving in and out of cars, the sound design, the tension was amazing. It was great, and it's hilarious to think that Bill Hader, no disrespect at all, but he's a comedic actor and he's directing a series now. He does a great job in this episode. He does a great job in all the episodes he directs. But Jurassic World, Dominion, there is a motorcycle scene in that movie, and it honestly fucking sucks compared to this. This is eons better. It's not even the same planet. And I just think it's funny to compare the two. The billion-dollar movie versus the comedic guy from SNL is directing an action scene with dirt bikes, and it's way better. Still, my favorite character, my favorite performance in this show is Anthony Carrigan as NoHo Hank. He steals every scene he's in. He's fucking hilarious. I definitely think he has funnier moments in season 2, but this season, they really drive some dramatic aspects of his character, and we see him in a pretty fucked up place. And that's why I love this show, because there are so many parts that are so funny, but we can get really serious with our characters. We can take them seriously, and they're in real danger, in my opinion. There are sequences where I actually don't know which characters are going to live, which characters are going to die. And for a show to pull that off, I know I say this all the time, but when a show can actually pull that off, it is such a feat nowadays. I love what they do with Barry in a weird way. It's like a reverse Walter White, like Walter White's Breaking Bad, and Barry's like Breaking Good, like he's bad, but he's trying to be good. But there's so many things in Barry's life and his past that sometimes we just can't really do that. And they don't sugarcoat anything in this series. And there's a lot of things that come up in season 3 that, like I said, have built in these last 2 seasons that have great payoff. And on top of all of that, the drama and the serious tones in the show and the story that's extremely interesting, built up, paced perfectly, and all that, we still get hilarious sequences, hilarious one-liners, all of that. It is one of the best blends of drama, comedy I've ever seen. If you're not watching Barry right now, I highly suggest you do, because it is one of the best comedies ever made. This season is one of the best comedy seasons ever made too. I think it's just as good as the last season. Season 3 has an episode that's not as good as the Ronnie and Lily episode in season 2, but it's up there. This season had everything I wanted for a third season for Barry. It's just as good as season 2. Honestly, they could have ended the series right there. It would have been a fine ending. It probably would have pissed some people off, but I think it wrapped up a lot of things that could have been a series finale. But I am so excited to see what they do in season 4, because there are a lot of things they can still do. I'm done gushing about this show, because this really is one of the best comedies I've ever seen. And if you haven't started watching it, I suggest you get on it right now. Barry season 3 gets 10 Davey Daves.
It's over! It's over!
Yes, HBO is on fire with Barry and Succession. 2 of my favorite shows right now. I don't think those shows are as good as Better Call Saul. That is my favorite show on television right now. That's hard to beat for me because I'm such a Breaking Bad whore. But it's up there. Succession and Barry, they're up there. And Barry only has 8 episodes a season, and they're pretty short. So you could easily get caught up now if you really want to watch it. And you should. But season 3 of Barry, if you've seen it, let me know what you think. I'm curious to hear. And thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Dave's Takes.